Welcome to English virtual class. Children, when you go outside at night, what do you see actually in the sky? You will see many twinkling stars. In between, brightly shining moon. So, moon is the attractive object in the night sky. You can see many phases of moon as crescent, half moon and full moon on full moon day, and sometimes the sky becomes dark without moon, but it is called as new moon day. So at night time you have to go outside and look at the sky. You will see many celestial bodies in between twinkling stars and many planets and some moving stars, small stars. They like moving stars, but they are not actually stars move, because stars are not moving object. They are always constant at rest. Only planets and some celestial bodies like comets and satellites move. So here is a poem, The Comet and the Moon. It is written by Richard Edwards. Poet writes the conversation. He imagines the conversations between comet and moon. So let us study what are those conversations between the moon and the comet. Let me read the poem first, so you also read along with me. Poem, The Comet and the Moon. Tell me, said the comet, as it whooshed past the moon's pale face, why do you look so sulky as you make your way through space? You will sulk as well, the moon said, if you were doomed like me to always plod the same path in chains of gravity. You are free to flare and sizzle. You roam like rockets do, while I am stuck here in the orbit of the earth. I envy you. Once things were better, spacemen came up to float and walk and scratch my back. Now life is too dull. So, comet, stay and talk. The comet didn't answer. Already it had gone to wag its tail round Venus while the moon trudged on. Written by Richard Edwards. Now I will explain line by line what are the conversation between the comet and the moon. The comet says, tell me, moon, as whooshed past the moon's pale face, why do you look sulky? When it looks like towards the moon's face, the comet feels the moon's face was dull. It was sulky, dull. So it asks the comet, tell me. The moon was looking dull because he had felt that he is doomed to walk with a lot of efforts round the earth in the fixed orbit But the comet is free to roam anywhere. It is not like fixed orbit. It has no fixed orbit. Moon has fixed orbit as it is rotating around its axis and also revolving around the earth. But the comet has no fixed orbit. So from this, the moon is painful, feeling unhappy. When the men loaded on the moon, its look little bit changed. But it envied the comet because he was free to flare and sizzle, roll like a rocket. The moon wanted to express his sad feelings with Comet, but Comet did not stay there. It left the place. Already it was not there. It already left the place to wave its tail around the Venus, towards the planet Venus. So the comet asks first, why are you silky moon? And as you make your way through space, you will silk as well, said the moon. You will silk as well. Sulk means refusing to talk. You only made me do not talk to, refusing to talk, in the bad temper. If you were doomed like me, you also doomed like me. If you are also only around earth, orbiting around the earth, you were also doomed like me to always plod the same path. Plod means walk laboriously. As who is walking laboriously here? Comet. You can see the comet. It has head and tail. So when it walks, it makes the hissing sound. Whoosh, whooshed past moon's face. So word describes its walking sound and also its brightness of the tail. When it goes near any planet or near sun, it develops the tail. From this, the moon becomes sulky. You can see the comet has head and tail. So if you look in brightness of the tail, in the darkness of the night around it, many twinkling stars, and in between those, the comet developing its tail, head and tail. You can see many images of comets. So comet is what? It is also a celestial body. To always plot the same path in chains of gravity. In chains of gravity means when comet moves, there are many planets which are pulling towards center of gravity, because there are many planets, they have also gravity. The gravity of the planets and stars makes the comet to move towards them. You are free to flare and sizzle. You roam like rockets do. The moon says to the comet, you are free to flare and sizzle. You can move everywhere. Sizzle and also making a sound of while moving. Flare means they roam everywhere. Sizzle is the sound of water. When you sprinkle water on the hot metal or on the hot tawa in the kitchen, you can observe when you sprinkle water drops on the hot metal, it makes the sound. So it is called a sizzle. You roam like rockets do. You also roam like rockets the sky. While I am stuck here in the orbit of the earth, I envy you. When I am here, only stuck in the orbit, only I am roaming in the orbit of the earth. I am not going out of the orbit. So like this, the moon expresses its sadness. You can see the moon is painful as it cannot move like the comets. It is always orbiting in the orbit of the moon around the earth. Now life is too dull because once things were better. Spacemen came up to float and walk and scratch my back. Once the people from the earth landed on the moon. Those are spacemen. They came there and they were floating and walking on the moon and collected. Scratch my back means they collected samples of rock and soil. And for that it says it was happy. It feels greatness about itself. And says, now life is too dull. So, Comet, say, stay and talk. It requests the Comet to stay there and talk to it. But that time the Comet didn't answer because already it had gone to wag its tail around Venus. To wag its tail around Venus while the moon trudged on. When it was talking to, the moon was talking to Comet, it already had gone. Where? Towards the Venus. It was developing its tail and attracted by the gravity of the Venus and developing the tail while the moon trudged on. As the moon was moving in its orbit, trudged means move laboriously. As it travels in the orbit of the earth, we say trudged, laboriously, move laboriously. It was traveling in the orbit. This is how the comet and the moon make the conversations. Here, moon is painful. Now, glossary words. Comet. Comet is a celestial body that moves around the sun and looks like a bright star with a tail. Whoosh, W-H-O-O-S-H. Whoosh means make a soft sound when moving very fast. Sulky, S-U-L-K-Y. Sulky means in a bad temper, refusing to talk. Plod, P-L-O-D. Plod means walk laboriously. Chains of gravity, confined to the force that attracts the bodies to the center of earth. Flare, F-L-A-R-E. Flare means blaze with bright flame. Sizzle, S-I-Z-Z-L-E. S-I-Z-Z-L-E is make hissing sound as of water falling on the hot metal. Envy, feeling of discontent aroused by another's better fortune. Trudge means walk laboriously, traverse. So you have to draw this diagram of the comet and the moon and write the poem. And it's a summary. So summary of the poem you have to write. Thank you. Have nice times.